Hey everyone, it's Ride1940 here. Today we're taking a look at Sea Power, Naval Combat, and the Missile Age. This is Duel. It is a mission, a default mission that comes with the game now with the Japanese units. And it's pretty neat. We've got a Victor potentially out there and some other diesel submarine. So we got to be on the lookout for that. Let's take a look at the briefing really quick. I think it's pretty nice. Right, I love it and I like to point this out every time I see it. If you make submarine missions, you should put some sort of direction you want the player to go. So we know that we got to go over here somewhere, and we're told that in a realistic way because we've got a thing here saying that sonar arrays have actually picked up two different contacts. They're unknown contacts. They kind of think it's a Victor. They kind of think the other one's a Kilo or Romeo class, and so they're heading towards this strait. So we know we can either do a barrier patrol or we can drive towards them and see what's going on. So let's get started. Now, we have the Mochichio, which is a Ushio class submarine. Let's take a look at the loadout here. So we've got the Type 80s. I think they go 8 nautical miles. Yep, 8 nautical miles, anti-surface or subsurface. And the AGM-84, the harpoon missile. I don't think that we're going to use that. Unless I don't know how that we would get a contact that we could fire harpoon at one of these submarines unless we catch one like broaching or something for some bizarre reason. So let's take a look at the game plan here. Someone had mentioned they want to, when I start the missions, I should probably talk about what my plan is for those that aren't. I don't know, for those that need the help, I guess. So if we know that the submarines are going this direction, likely to transit the strait, and we got a datum here, I'll probably go towards the edge of that datum and maybe just do like a barrier. We got some other vessels here. They're probably going to be merchants, so I'm not going to worry about them. Because we were told that we just assessed these two submarines in the area. So, yeah, we'll probably do unfortunately, it'll just be a passive. We don't have a towed array, so it'll just be a hull-mounted passive search, kind of a barrier going back and forth. Don't want to go active because the Victor, if it is a Victor, I think they've got one of those torpedoes that go like 13.5 nautical miles. So, actually, let's take a look. This is something you should also do at the beginning of a mission if you don't have these things memorized, and I don't have them memorized, so don't feel bad. Kind of look through what these guys have so we know what's going on. So 65, 76, so we walk through it. All we do is we say, okay, anti-surface, don't have to worry about that. That's 27 nautical miles, but doesn't bother us because we don't have to worry about it. Test 71, so this is an anti-submarine torpedo. It's 13.5 nautical miles, so we got right now it's the highest ranged weapon system that can go against us, so we want to be careful. 9.7, another anti-surface mode, anti-submarine mode as well. 9.7 range. The sub-rock is 10.4 nautical miles, so as long as we stay out of 13.5 so far, we're good. And then this is anti-submarine at 8 nautical miles. Okay, so that was the Victor and the Kilo. Let's take a look. Alright, so same thing, Kilo's 13.5 and 5365. Obviously it's a weight-combing torpedo, we don't have to worry about that. You said 80s. Anti-submarine 9.7. So 13.5 is the range that we're going to memorize in our heads, and that's going to be once we get contact with any of those submarines, we want to make sure we stay out of that bubble. Or, obviously we're going to have to close that bubble to fire a weapon, but we'll be able to know once we fire, okay, we got to run out this distance to make sure we're not going to get hit by those with the counterfire, basically. So there's not a lot of margin there because, with 13.5 nautical miles, so like what, 4.5 nautical miles on top of what, is it 4 or 5 nautical miles on top of what we can do? So, yeah, 5 nautical miles. Sorry, I can't math right now. 5.5 nautical miles on top of what we can do to run. So I think max speed of this guy underwater is like 20 knots. So it's going to be quite a bit of time before we get out of the danger area. Anyways, another thing we got to kind of think about at the beginning here is we need to make sure we know our layer depth. And it's going to change around the map, so periodically kind of look at it. Scroll over there. It says thermal layer depth is 374. So right now we're at 85 feet, so we're in the layer. If we want to take a peek underneath the layer, we'll go ahead and do that right now. Go down below the layer, and we'll see if we get any contact. Right. So the layer is, it's not like this impenetrable barrier, but it is more difficult to get returns back because you get, if you imagine like a wall, kind of like right here, but it's like a see-through wall. So some you can see things on the other side, but a lot of times what happens is you can get, as the sound rays go down, they'll reflect off that layer. They won't actually penetrate it, right? And also when the sound rays come back, there's another chance that they'll scatter or whatever. So there's more loss going back and forth across the layer. So it's just better for you to take your submarine, or if you have a towed array, if you're a ship, put it below the layer, take a look underneath there, and then move around as such. And also you can use that to your advantage too, right? If I was going against a surface submarine, or a surface ship, if I stay under the layer, there's less of a chance that he's going to detect me, unless he's got a towed array parked under the layer. But he's stuck on the top of the, he's basically stuck in the layer because he's a ship. He can't maneuver. So we've got an advantage as a submarine. We can kind of use that to our advantage and bounce around as we want, as we deem fit, I guess. Okay, so we're going 8 knots. We'll do that. I'm sure that's okay. All right, we've lost contact. We're on our depth of 395. This will slow down just a tad bit more. Go down to 3 now. Okay, got some noise. All right, that's just a ship. No need to worry. And I think maybe we'll start our patrol. Right when I do that. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I might as well just start going like back and forth here, and that would have been cool because we would have caught this guy. But whatever this is, just sped the heck up to 20 knots. 14.5 nautical miles away from us. Okay, so always place a marker, right? Put that kind of by the guy, but not on the guy, because what's going to happen is when we lose contact, that'll disappear, and a marker attached to a unit will also disappear. Now what I'm doing here is I need to pull out 13.5 nautical miles, because that was the scariest torpedo they can throw at us that could actually affect us. And as long as we stay out of that, there we go. I guess the marker's kind of useless. Yeah, as long as we stay outside of this bubble, we're good. But the thing is, we need to get in this bubble because we need to kill the guy. So we can plan around this, right? If I sit here and I just sit quietly, have him come to me, it's kind of dangerous, because when he gets kind of like perpendicular, I guess, to the well, I don't want to sit here and just wait for him to cross this line, right? Because this distance right here, if you were to do that, it's going to be so small. It's going to be like a few miles, maybe 1-2 miles or something. And while we're probably going to kill him doing that, he's probably going to have enough time and see the launch and hear it immediately and fire immediately directly at us. And then, of course, we're not going to run out 13.5, right? If he does that, we're also hosed. So I kind of want to figure out a way, can I get around or something as he's coming towards me, to hopefully maneuver towards his stern section here and maybe get a shot at him. So I'm going to try and do that. And as we do that, I'm going to try and skirt this boundary, right? And hopefully we have flank arrays that can maintain contact. Let's take a look, actually. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Yeah, it just kind of just says hull mounted sonar. So I mean, I don't know enough about the submarine to know if it's got, if I can detect it on the flanks like that. But we'll find out, I guess. If we lose contact, then it's it's easy enough. We'll just turn back in and work it that way. Of course, my marker is not on the unit, so I need to make sure that I periodically move that. Okay, that's a hostile submarine. Now he's let's take a look what we got here for the information. Okay, so this is either the Victor 3, the Charlie 1, or 2, and they assessed, I think, at the beginning here that there was likely a Victor, so this might be our Victor. Yeah. So they're not positively identified, but they had already said that it was probably going to be a Victor, so I'm going to call that a Victor. So I am assuming that's what we're dealing with right now. So it doesn't matter, because 13.5 was the largest range threat that they got for us, and this, even the Kilo, if that was the Kilo, they could hold the same torpedo, so no big deal. We're just going to treat them the same regardless of what they are. One thing I need to look at is this depth. 565, we're at 395. I'm kind of going to skirt this underneath be underneath the layer here, because you know, it's a two-way street. So if we are both in the layer, he's going to be able to see me better as well, right? And so if I skirt the just being underneath the bottom of the layer, I can fire at him and then pop into the layer, and hopefully that's going to help me break contact with him. Try to use that to my advantage. The downside is obviously if there were surface threats or if somebody was sitting in the layer, they're going to pick you up. But there's just so many little pieces to the puzzle here, trying to put it all together. Okay, so let's move that up a little bit more so we're kind of in range now. Remember, we got to get to like 8 nautical miles, so we got to sneak around as best as we can. The threat also is that he's got... Are these torpedoes wire guided? They are wire guided. Okay. Let's do some scheming here. This will be interesting. I'll try and do a wire guided shot, but I don't recall how to do that. I think you click on the torpedo and just give it waypoints, and as long as we're kind of pointed a certain direction, we won't break the wire. We'll see. We'll try to do like a dogleg kind of thing, but we need to measure out, if we were to do that, like 4 nautical miles this way, call it that, and 4 nautical miles this way. Okay, so that could work, but we're going to be really close, so if he does see us, we're kind of screwed. Okay, let's, we'll go for it though, against my better judgment. Oh no, he's slowed down. Yeah, 15 knots there, he's slowed down. Okay, slowing down a lot. That means we need to slow down a lot too. Okay, what I think's gonna happen, I don't know this, what I think's gonna happen, he's gonna pop up, but we want to make sure we're at all stops so we can just watch him.
I'll stop, maneuvering aye.
And I'm hoping that we eventually get contact again as he gets closer. And one thing that is important is, so we lost contact here. And his depth was 125. Oh, okay. Alright, well let's go change our depth. So he's gone in the layer. You see how he slowed down and he went into the layer? So now we're having a hard time seeing each other. But we're going to pop into the layer. Hopefully we'll see him. Oh, there it goes. Oh, no, that's the ship. Okay, we're already in the layer now. Okay, let's try and point this area. Okay. Yeah, we'll just have to wait. Trying to think if I have any stories from working with the Japanese and when I was in the Navy, and I've been to Japan a few times in the Navy because a lot of times you go when you're like a West Coast sailor, you'll hit Guam, you'll probably hit Hawaii, of course, and then you'll hit maybe Japan, or Thailand or something. Then you head out towards the Middle East, and then on the way back you get another set of those kind of port visits. But this kind of related to Japan. It was basically when I was let's say I was 2 junior. Well, guess I was kind of junior. It was like, I can't tell if it was, I don't think it was my first deployment. I think it was like maybe my second deployment or something. And I had overnight liberty with some of the guys in sonar. And we had this thing going where, like, it was basically like, you know, based on your rank, you have curfew, right? So I think for E4 and below is midnight, okay? And then E7 and below, it was, wait a minute, E4 and below is midnight. I think E6 and below, it was like 1 o'clock. And then the chiefs and the officers didn't have to come back till like 2 a.m. And you didn't have to come back to the ship. If you had overnight liberty, which was authorized, you just had to go to your hotel room by that time. So we knew that, okay, we got the submarine back. He's pretty close. So he's still out of range, though. We'll walk down the range to 8 miles. And let's actually take a look at this here. He's going 20 knots, and now he's going deep. So that's pretty smart of him. As he increases speed, he's actually lowering his depth so he can... What that actually does, I'll talk about this in a second here. Let me just change the depth to watch him. So it's kind of... It's strange to think of think of it this way, but basically with these screws here, right, they create like a low pressure zone, and that low pressure zone, once it's you know, if you think about low pressure, if you learn about that in like high school or middle school or whatever, lower pressure lowers the boiling point of the water, right? So there's low pressure zones as this thing is spinning, and it could, as the faster it goes, the stronger that pressure is going to be, or low pressure is going to be, and that's going to make the bubbles form, and that's cavitation. So that's kind of think of it as like boiling water, which is pretty nuts, boiling at like, you know, at any depth, right? So that is what causes the bubbles. So what happens is if you go deeper, the pressure is higher, right? Because there's all the weight of the whole water column up until that point is pressing down on that. So the pressure is increased, so that way the boiling point is then raised a lot, so that way you can go faster before you reach the pressure that is required to create the bubbles. So that's why it's smarter to go deeper if you want to go faster, because you're not going to cavitate, and that's why that's happening. All right, he's almost in range, 8.65. We'll see if I mess this up royally, because I haven't done like a dogleg shot where we return in like that. So I'll see how I can handle the wire guided. Anyways, so in Singapore, we'll watch this actually. We'll make sure that gets down to 8, and then I'll shut up and I'll fire at him. Yeah, so in Singapore, basically, well, before we even got to Singapore, my guys and I, we all knew, okay, if we stayed out past our curfew at 1, we could get in trouble. But if we stayed out past 2, and we saw somebody else on the street, like a chief or an officer, and it was past their curfew, they wouldn't be able to say anything to us because they're breaking the rules as well, right? And at that point, there's only the shore patrol, which is someone on duty or a couple dudes on duty going around looking for you. So the odds are, if you're in a giant city like Singapore, like, what are the odds that they'll find you, right? So we always took that chance. It was like, anyways, so we go to this, it's like 1 a.m. and basically we got to hide for basically just 1 hour, right? Till past 2, and then we're not going to get in trouble. And so we find this, we're actually walking back to our hotel, and we found this bar on the way, but it was like a downstairs bar off the street. You had to go down some steps, and it was kind of tucked in, and we just heard live music, so we're like, oh, let's go listen to the live music or whatever, and that was cool. So it was really packed too, and we're just chilling out, not even like getting hammered or anything, just we didn't want the night to end, we're just kind of all hanging out. And we told the bartender, or one of the bartenders, we were like, hey, if you see like U.S. Navy people come in like in uniform, just like let us know, because we put our backs deliberately to the entrance, just in the very off chance that somebody would come in. We didn't think it was possible. Also because we were like way in the back. There's the whole crowd and dance floor and everything. It was like there's no way anybody would see us, even if they popped their head in. But we told the bartender, like, in case that happens, just let us know. We'll close our tab out, and we'll have to go at that point. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And so we're getting along. It's like, I don't know, 1:30, 1:45, and we're not facing the door, and then we get like a tap on our shoulder, and lo and behold, all right, we're in range. Lo and behold, this is a perfect timing. it's the shore patrol people. They're on duty, and it was like a first class and a officer of. She just came to the ship, so she didn't really understand how things worked. And I thought, and the first class was cool with us. Like he knew, he didn't want any trouble either, because we're a small ship. You kind of got relationships with people. They don't want to screw you over. Well, some do, but most of the times, I knew this guy was in combat systems too. He didn't want to screw us over. So he's like, just get back to your hotel room right now. And we're like, okay, got it. And so we're like, all right, we're busted. But the officer lady was so worked up, like she just busted some crime family thing or something. She had a radio with her. She radioed the quarterdeck, and I was kind of laughing in my head. I'm like, what does she think is going to happen? Like the first class there on duty is going to be like, okay, and then not give a crap, and so unfortunately for us, there was actually another officer who was also, I think, from the academy. She was from the academy and he was from the academy, and he just got to the ship as well. So he felt really I guess motivated to make sure that he did things by the book and that we got in trouble. And so he marked in the deck log, which is okay, now people know for sure that that's happened. And he told the duty section leader what we did. Whoa, there's 2 submarines here. Holy cow. This is going 14 knots. That's going 20 knots. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad we waited. If I fired at that earlier, we would have been kind of screwed. Well, we're just sitting here. You know what I think I might do? See if we can point them. Just wait till they go past, and fire at them from the rear. It's sketchy, though, because we're seeing them right now passively. He's probably detecting us as well. Okay, I think we're going to have to make the executive decision here. So what we need to do also... So I'm assuming this guy's going to be kind of blind, going 20 knots, right? At some point he's going to slow down, and then we're going to be screwed. So that is a Victor 3. This guy's going pretty fast at 14 knots for a diesel boat. So we'll fire... Oh, we need to... I was going to say 340 is his depth, and then 565 is his depth. So 340 is in the layer, so we want to make sure that we are above the layer. So we'll do 2 for the search ship. We'll say above the layer, and we'll fire 2. Actually, we'll do long range shot first. We're just gonna have to run after that. Yeah, let's do the... It's difficult. It's kind of... If I shoot at this guy first, because he's further away, this guy is definitely going to react to that. I'm guessing. If I shoot at this guy, I'm hoping this guy doesn't react to that. Like he doesn't find us or something, but we'll see. We're going to take the chance here. We'll go above the layer. We'll fire 2 at this dude. We're not going to do any sort of dogleg thing. Okay, I'll change this to below the layer. We'll say deep, I guess. Fire 2. And then, say below the layer, fire 2. And then below the layer as well, maybe above the layer, because we saw that Victor go up above the layer. We'll fire 2 more at the Victor 3. Alright, we are firing a crap ton of torpedoes here. Did we fire all of them? I think we did. Alright, cool. Okay, now we'll, geez, we gotta get out of here. I don't know that we can make a break for it. So this guy also has that, so we're gonna have to go all the way over here. I think we're gonna run for it. And I'm gonna go very deep. Yeah, so back to the story. We'll start running. Hopefully that works out. We got a bunch of weapons going that way. It gets put in the deck log, and we get told to go back to the hotel room. So we go back to the hotel room, and then we get a phone call. I think we had we had duty the next day, so we had to go back to the ship anyways. But they called us because you have to say what hotel you're going at, and then they get their number and everything. And sometimes they would actually call you their hotel room if they were feeling really cranky to make sure that you're there after hours. But that ship was pretty cool. They didn't really do that. So they tell us, well, you got to come back to the ship tomorrow. I'm like, okay, well, we got to be there anyways because of duty. And the next morning we have discipline review board in the chief's mess, and then basically, if you don't know what that is, they'll just yell at you. All the chiefs will be in there. They'll just yell at you and scream at you, and they figure out if you're going to go to XOI, which is Executive Officer's Inquiry. And if that happens, then it's up to the XO at that point to determine if you're going to go up to Captain's Mast. And if you go to Captain's Mast, then the CO has the determination to give you a non-judicial punishment. We call it NJP. And there's certain things that they're authorized to do. So it's not like you'll go to the brig or anything, but they can reduce your rank. They could cut your pay in half for a couple months. Back when I was in, they could give you bread and water if they wanted, but I think they got rid of that a few years ago, finally, after some crazy CO did that for her whole ship in Japan, I think, stationed out in Japan. She did that for a few days. Anyways, yeah, so they're yelling at you, and it's like, whatever. And the funny thing about that was, when you're in the military, like, people yelling at you, it's like, I don't care, right? Because you got over that in boot camp. And so chief's yelling at you, it's like, I don't give a crap. But afterwards, my senior chief pulled me and this other sonar supervisor, who was a good friend of mine back then. That senior chief loved us because he loved how into sonar we were and how kind of professional we were and learning our job and leading the division. And he pulled us in. He said, guys, I'm really disappointed in you. And that was hard. He didn't raise his voice or anything. He just said, I'm really disappointed in you. And that just ripped our hearts out. We were just like, no, disappointed senior. And so we get done with the DRB, the Discipline Review Board. And then luckily there were other people that did more crazier things, so they got in trouble, and they got, fortunately they went up to Captain's Mast too. But because of that, the heat was off of us, except our punishment was I couldn't go out on liberty for the next 3 port visits. And so Okinawa was the next one. And I couldn't get off the ship there. We went to, I think it's called White Sands or something. It's on the naval base there. Really pretty spot. Coming into Okinawa is just so beautiful. There's so many little tiny islands and stuff all around, and they're all white sands, and yeah, some of them are just really tiny. They have one palm tree on them. It's really neat. Yeah, just beautiful water, and I get to go swimming in it or nothing. And then another port visit was immediately after that. We went to Tokyo. Was it Tokyo? Yeah, we went to Yokosuka Naval Base. I was not allowed to go on liberty, but I was allowed on base, so I went to the McDonald's on base, and that was the highlight of that port visit. And then the final one, I don't remember where we were. I think maybe it was Guam. We sailed back to go home or something. But yeah, so I looked out. I mean, Discipline Review Board just doing liberty restriction on you is probably the best thing that could happen to you, because then you don't get to go out, but you save your money, I guess, and you don't get to lose rank or lose your paycheck. So that was good. Gotta hope that we don't get shot with some torpedoes here. And yeah, so that was Japan for you. Another time on another deployment, we actually went up there. We went to Sendai, Japan, which is where they had that terrible tsunami. And I didn't see what happened to the city after. This was before the tsunami happened, the earthquake happened. And that city was amazing. It was the prettiest, it was the greenest, big Japanese city I've ever seen. Oh, I hear sonar. This is not good. I think what we'll do is kick out a noisemaker, change direction. Noisemaker. Oh, this is not good. I hear them. Change direction again. Oh man, that is a torpedo! Crap! That's not my torpedo! Yikes! Okay, we're gonna go towards the surface. Oh, that was nuts. Yeah, so we go to Sendai, really pretty green city, and it was for the anniversary of the alliance between Japan and America, and so we had, you know, our ship was representing the U.S. There were Japanese maritime self-defense ships that were actually there also. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, this is bad. I think we're screwed. See if we live, but I think we're screwed. And so anyways, we go over there. There's a couple ships, and it was kind of cool because we opened our ship up to do like tours and stuff. So we had Japanese civilians. We come on board, and they were able to like walk around the weather decks, and I think they were guided tours into some of the I want to say some of the spaces, but I don't quite remember if we actually let them inside the ship. I was on duty as like topside rover that day. I had a couple watches that day as topside rover, and I was watching the Japanese ships because I was out there the whole time, and they had on their ships, they were actually taking like a bunch of people on board, like civilians, and then just driving out of the harbor on the ship for like an hour, and then coming back and then taking a whole bunch of people on board and like doing that over and over again. I thought that was so cool. So I don't think we've ever done that in the U.S. Navy. But anyways, we got Japanese people on board, and I know like baby Japanese because I was born in Japan, and like I'm half Japanese actually, but I just grew up in the United States, and I actually was a citizen up until I turned 18, and I had to denounce it to get my clearance. And so anyways, I knew a little bit, not great conversational like Japanese, but I could say things, and there were people that wanted to take a picture with me because I had an actual gun. Like I had an M16 rifle, part of my my watch kit out, right? I had my bulletproof vest. I had a M9, I think there was like 15 round magazines, a couple of them on me, and then the M16. And people thought it was like a prop gun, and I was there for like pictures. And one of them asked me, "Is like, is that loaded?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's loaded. What do you think?" And they were so shocked that I would walk around with a loaded gun like that. I was like, "Yes, this is like to protect the ship because we got all these people on board." And in terms of like gun safety, we originally had our 50 cals like unmasked and everything, or unbagged, because we would put bags over them to protect them from the elements. I don't think they're called bags, like whatever their technical term is, but anyways, we would put that over them to keep them protected from like saltwater exposure and stuff like that. As we're just sailing around, we don't need to have the guns up. And we had taken them off so that the Japanese can like see the gun mounts and stuff like that. And oh, we're done. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, end the mission there. That was bad. I don't know, like, the way that played out, where there was two, I was hoping we could run, but, I should have been more active about changing depth and course and stuff to try to hopefully throw off the torpedoes. We kind of just ran one direction because I was really deep in storytelling, but oh well. Sometimes that's how it goes. I don't win all my missions that I play. Anyways, let's exit that. Let's zoom out of this, I think. Actually, I'm kind of curious to see if none of those torpedoes hit. One outstanding defeat. I need to get a screenshot of this failure. Maybe this will be the thumbnail. That'll be funny. Sub-duel. Yeah, so we had these 50 cals up, and there were jet skis and stuff, and it was kind of a problem because we had I kind of want to like get my camera away from this so that there we go, that's better, I think. Yeah, there we go. Nice, beautiful, quiet. Is that my slick? think so. Yeah, we had the 50 cals out and open. Like we had dual mount 50s and stuff like that. We had jet skis that were coming around the boat, and it was kind of a hassle because we were trying to tell them to go away. Like they're not allowed to come really close to the ship. It's like a security problem. And they were getting super close because they saw all the civilians on board. So they're like, well, why the heck can't we come near it? And we're trying to wave these people off. And I'm on like the port. Is it this? It was starboard side because we were moored. Yeah, we're moored up with the port side too. So we're the brow and stuff was on the port side going down to the pier. And I'm on the starboard side telling the people, kind of waving these people off, and they keep coming closer. And this group of like old Japanese men come to the 50 cal kind of like near me, and then this one guy's talking in Japanese to the others, and he very quickly like he pulls the stowage pin on the gun, or the machine gun. He racks the gun back and points it at the jet skis, and he pulls the trigger. I'm like, what the fuck? So by the time I could try to stop him, it was too late. And luckily, I mean, the gun wasn't loaded, and that's why he did that. But it's like, dude, even if you think you know that it's unloaded, you should never do that. There's just like no thought of like gun safety or anything. So I had to get him to like leave, and then after that we had. On the port side, this was like a crazy watch because we had, there was some bushes. There was like the pier was really empty because it was kind of the edge of a commercial pier, I think, and it was like an L shape. So our ship was on one side of the L, and the Japanese ships were on the other side of the L, in line with each other. And on our side, there was like the pier was kind of clear, but then there was a fence line with like a bunch of bushes and trees. And I noticed like this old Japanese man was like hiding in the bushes taking pictures of the ship. And so we had to call the Japanese police that was at the gate to come talk to this guy and say, hey, don't do that. And he's like, oh, he agreed. And we're like, okay, that's fine. He can stay around, but just don't do that, because we understand people want to take pictures, whatever. But then he goes back to the bushes, and I'm just kind of watching him, and he does it again. I was like, dude, what the F? And so call the police again. They come over and they talk to him. And they're like, do you want to throw him out? And they're like, yeah, we want to throw him out now because we told him once, and now he continues to do it. So he was escorted out. But because it's a fence, he just goes behind the fence on the other side, outside of the pier, and then takes pictures again. And we're like, what the heck? And so the cops had to talk to him again. And I think whatever they said to him, it kind of like it struck home with him because he didn't come back after that. Or he got really good at hiding because they never saw him again. But yeah, that was some of my Japanese stories there. And this was called Duel. I failed quite horribly. I don't know. I don't know if the dogleg thing would have helped, but I certainly think me running away at full speed so close to them didn't help as well. But we didn't even score any hits, so yeah, oh well. Anyways, if you have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get to them as soon as possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!